Hey, Cowboys Nation. Today we're diving into all the angles for America's team as they prepare to face the Arizona Cardinals. Dak Prescott has been in incredible form this season, and when you compare him to the Cardinals' past defense, the numbers definitely lean in Dallas' favor. Despite a rough outing last week, the Cardinals have struggled to consistently pressure quarterbacks or disrupt passing plays. Their yards per play and success rate allowed are middle of the pack at best, which gives Dak and the offense a real opportunity to stretch the field and hit big plays. He has been particularly sharp against split safety looks and Arizona runs that look more than half the time, meaning Prescott could have a lot of room to work his magic downfield. One of the storylines to watch is how the Cowboys match up against man versus zone coverage, especially depending on which quarterback Arizona deploys. Kyler Murray has had trouble with man coverage this year, while Jacoby Brissett has shown much better numbers in those situations. That dynamic makes it fascinating to see if Dallas leans into more man schemes to try and disrupt the Cardinals' rhythm. The Cowboys coaching staff will have to weigh the potential risks versus the benefits, but history suggests that taking advantage of man coverage could pay off in a big way. Personnel matchups will also be crucial. Dallas frequently rolls out 11 personnel, which usually draws a dime defense from Arizona. The Cowboys have averaged impressive yards per play with this package, and exploiting those matchups could open the door to a strong running game or quick passes in the short to intermediate area. The ability to establish the run inside would be a major factor against a defense that has done a solid job defending the interior so far this season. How they execute here could set the tone for the entire game. On the defensive side, keeping an eye on how the Cowboys handle Arizona's receiving threats is key. Trey McBride remains one of the most reliable tight ends in the league, especially on third downs, while Marvin Harrison Jr. has had an up-and-down stretch recently. His drops against Seattle aside, he has the talent to make explosive plays, and Dallas secondary will need to be on top of their game. Deep coverage has been a weak spot for the Cowboys this season, allowing significant yardage and touchdowns on longer throws. Whoever is at quarterback for the Cardinals, these matchups will test Dallas secondary in a way that could shape the outcome. The Cowboys' offensive line is another factor to monitor closely. With players like Clayton Adams facing his former team, there's an added layer of motivation. The starting five is expected to be on the field, and the consistency of their protection will be essential for Prescott to operate comfortably. Alongside that, the play of defensive stars like Don Bland and Osa Odighizuwa will be crucial. Bland's ability to limit points when targeted can give the team a defensive edge, while Odighizuwa's impact against the run and in the pass rush will help compensate for the absence of Micah Parsons. How these individual performances come together will determine whether Dallas can control the game at both ends of the field. And finally, keep an eye on CeeDee Lamb. While he may have been a bit off his best form last week, his explosiveness and playmaking ability can change the complexion of the game in an instant. Every route, every separation, and every catch has the potential to shift momentum. In a matchup that could swing based on a few key plays, Lamb, Bland, and Prescott's precision all intertwine to define how Dallas approaches Arizona. It's a mix of strategy, talent, and execution, and watching it unfold will be as exciting as any game this season. As we look deeper into this matchup, the question becomes how the Cowboys will exploit weaknesses and adjust to whatever Arizona throws at them. The offensive game plan will have to balance aggression with smart play calling because the Cardinals, even if inconsistent, still have players who can make big plays in a heartbeat. Dak Prescott's ability to read defenses pre-snap will be key, particularly against those split safety looks where he has excelled this season. His chemistry with his receivers and timing on throws will have to be perfect to take advantage of the slight lapses in Arizona's coverage, and the offensive line's performance in giving him time will directly impact those opportunities. This is one of those games where small margins matter, and if Dallas can consistently execute in the pocket, they have a chance to control tempo and dictate the pace of the game. For the Cardinals, whoever is under center, Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett, changes the defensive approach. Murray brings a dual-threat dynamic that keeps defenders on their toes, but his struggles against man coverage make him somewhat predictable in certain situations. Brissett, on the other hand, has shown surprising composure, particularly on deeper routes and intermediate throws, and that could force Dallas to rethink how aggressively they rush the passer or how they align their secondary. The Cowboys' defensive coaches will need to identify patterns quickly, adjust coverages on the fly, and ensure that players like Don Bland and Cavani Turpin, or whoever is on the field, maintain discipline and positioning. With deep ball coverage being a known vulnerability, containing explosive plays will be critical. If Arizona finds a way to consistently hit passes over the top, the Cowboys' defense could be tested more than expected, even if the overall pressure and front seven performance remains solid. Turnovers and situational football will also play a significant role in this game. The Cowboys will need to capitalize on every short field opportunity and ensure that penalties don't take them out of promising drives. Third down efficiency, red zone execution, and clock management all become magnified in a matchup of this caliber. Prescott's decision-making under pressure will define many of these sequences. Even though the offensive line has had moments of inconsistency, if they can give Dak clean pockets early and often, the team can maintain rhythm and sustain drives. The running game will need to complement the passing attack, particularly in situations where Arizona deploys heavier personnel to defend the pass. Finding a balance between the run and quick-hitting pass plays will be essential to keep the Cardinals' defense off balance. On the flip side, the Cowboys' defense will face unique challenges with the Cardinals' skill players. Trey McBride has proven to be a reliable target in critical situations, and matching him with linebackers or safeties who can stay in phase is vital. Marvin Harrison Jr., while inconsistent recently, still has the speed and route-running ability to exploit mismatches. Covering these players effectively, anticipating their tendencies, and providing pressure at key moments will test the entire defensive unit. Osa Odigizwa will need to bring consistent disruption from the interior, especially given the absence of Micah Parsons, who previously took on a large share of high-impact assignments. Pressuring the quarterback without sacrificing gap integrity in the run game will be a fine line to walk, and the Cowboys' ability to execute on both fronts will determine if they can slow down Arizona's rhythm and limit explosive plays. Personnel groupings and in-game adjustments will dictate much of the strategy. The Cowboys' tendency to run 11 personnel opens certain matchups, particularly against dime packages. Establishing the run inside could force the Cardinals to alter their coverage, creating opportunities for play-action passes and intermediate throws that take advantage of linebackers pulled out of position. Timing and spacing become critical in these sequences, and Dallas will need to maintain discipline while exploiting weaknesses in alignment or leverage. Each snap offers a chance to test tendencies, create mismatches, and ultimately tilt the game in their favor. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' skill players must remain engaged throughout the contest. CeeDee Lamb's ability to win one-on-one matchups and create separation is vital, especially on early downs where setting the tone can influence the rest of the drive. Prescott's accuracy and anticipation in these moments will determine if drives continue or stall. The combination of veteran poise, emerging talent, and situational awareness will define the team's offensive identity against Arizona. If timing is off or mistakes are made, the Cardinals could seize momentum, but if precision and execution align, Dallas has the potential to dominate both the scoreboard and the tempo. Special teams and field positioning are also critical, especially in a game where momentum swings can happen quickly. Punt coverage, returns, and kicking game performance will influence field position battles that matter late in drives. Dallas must avoid lapses that could provide the Cardinals with advantageous starting positions. Likewise, maintaining energy and focus on these plays is essential, as mistakes can shift momentum in ways that are hard to recover from. Defensive communication and adaptability will be under the microscope as well. Arizona will test different looks, motion, and shifts to force the Cowboys into coverage adjustments. Seamless communication between linebackers, safeties, and corners is crucial, and players like Don Bland must anticipate routes while remaining disciplined within their assignments. Covering deep zones, anticipating throws, and avoiding blown assignments will directly impact the likelihood of Arizona creating big plays downfield. Each defender's ability to read the quarterback, anticipate route combinations, and maintain gap integrity will collectively determine the effectiveness of Dallas' defensive plan. As the game unfolds, the chess match between offensive play calling and defensive adjustments will be fascinating to watch. The Cowboys' ability to exploit coverage tendencies, establish balance in the run-pass mix, and generate pressure without overcommitting will all play a role in determining success. Every pass, every route, and every block matters, and the team's preparation, execution, and resilience under pressure will define their performance against the Cardinals. Whether it's Prescott hitting rhythm throws, Lamb making critical catches, or Odigizwa creating disruption, each play carries weight and sets the tone for the next sequence. This is the type of game where precision, awareness, and execution converge, and watching how Dallas navigates these challenges will reveal a lot about their readiness, depth, and adaptability this season. In practical terms, this means the Cowboys are positioning themselves for aggressive moves. They're not content with standing pat and hoping the defense improves on its own. They're actively looking to trade pieces, leverage draft capital, and acquire players who can start immediately and influence the outcome of games. That's the kind of forward-thinking strategy that has been missing in prior seasons and could finally push the team into a championship conversation. Every trade discussion, every potential swap, is a calculated attempt to address weaknesses without compromising strengths. As the trade deadline approaches, fans and analysts alike will be scrutinizing every update, trying to predict which moves might materialize and how they will impact the team. Each rumor, report, and negotiation becomes a potential game-changer, because in the NFL, a single acquisition can dramatically alter the competitive landscape. The Cowboys have the talent, the ambition, and the resources to make significant moves, and the outcome of these decisions could define the trajectory of the season. Whether it's a high-profile defensive acquisition, a key offensive piece, or a calculated exchange of draft picks and existing players, the stakes are incredibly high, and the window for improvement is narrowing. Ultimately, this is where strategy meets urgency. The Cowboys are balancing short-term needs with long-term planning, evaluating talent both on the field and on the trading block, and trying to position themselves for immediate success while laying the groundwork for sustained competitiveness. It's a complex, high-stakes puzzle, and the way management navigates it will shape the narrative of this season. Fans are watching closely, understanding that the difference between a playoff run and disappointment could come down to a single roster move or a well-timed trade. Every detail matters, every decision counts, and that's what makes this period so critical and electrifying for the Dallas Cowboys. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. Dallas is buzzing with whispers after what insiders are calling one of the most explosive locker room confrontations in recent memory. Sources close to the team claim that offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer lost his temper following a heated altercation with a player during Wednesday's practice session. While details remain murky, multiple hints from team insiders suggest that the confrontation was more than a typical exchange. It was a full-blown shouting match, leaving teammates stunned and staff scrambling to contain the fallout. One anonymous source revealed, Brian just snapped. He was red-faced, yelling, and at one point, he literally said, "He's not wearing this jersey again." You could feel the tension cut through the room. While the Cowboys front office has declined to comment officially, murmurs around the facility indicate that the player in question is one of the team's higher-profile figures, though names are being tightly guarded. The incident reportedly escalated after a series of miscommunications on the field, culminating in a blow-up that some are calling unprecedented for a franchise known for its veteran locker room culture. Fans and analysts alike are speculating wildly. Could this lead to an internal suspension or even a trade rumor swirling midseason? The Cowboys have a history of trying to manage heated personalities, but insiders suggest this clash may push the limits. Some believe Schottenheimer's frustration stems from the team's inconsistent offensive performance and that the tension has been simmering for weeks. Another source hinted that Schottenheimer has been particularly outspoken in recent practices, pushing players harder than ever, which may have triggered this explosive moment. Social media is already ablaze, with fans dissecting every clip from practice, trying to spot body language that confirms the reports. Analysts are debating whether this is a turning point for the Cowboys' locker room culture or merely another headline-grabbing moment in a sport where tempers flare and stakes are high. If the phrase, "he's not wearing this jersey again," is any indication, the fallout could reshape team dynamics and even impact the starting lineup. One thing is clear. Tensions in Dallas have never been higher, and eyes are glued to see how Schottenheimer and the Cowboys navigate this storm. The coming days will be critical, and insiders warn that there may be more fireworks behind closed doors before the next game. If this rumor holds water, it might not just be a story for sports pages. It could define the Cowboys season. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.